Welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast, brought to you by TournamentPokerEdge.com, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to poker tournament strategy. Now here's your host, Clayton Fletcher.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. My name is Clayton Fletcher, and I am your host here in safe, socialist New York City. Happy to be bringing you yet another episode of the world's longest running poker strategy podcast. And special news today, our special guest, if you will, is none other than the original voice of this podcast, the founder or co-founder, I guess I should say, and head honcho of Tournament Poker Edge himself. You guys know him as Killingbird on Twitch and everywhere else, Mr. Derek Killingbird Tenbusch. Derek, how you been, bud?
I've been amazing, Clayton. How you been?
I'm really good. I've been following your adventures. You've been traveling around the country like some sort of rogue, like nomad. Like what's going on exactly?
Yeah, so for people who haven't maybe followed my socials or Twitch or whatever, or even if you have, I haven't talked about it a lot on there. But my wife and I sold our house and everything in it and our cars. And we bought a minivan. Well, he calls it a multi-use vehicle, but but yeah, and we've basically just started traveling the country full time, living in Airbnbs wherever we stop. So we've been out on the road for, I think, almost 4 months now. We spent the first 2 months in North Carolina on the coast while we were waiting for our house to sell, which sold really fast, thankfully. And then we went through Kentucky. We spent almost a month in Kentucky and then Grand Rapids, Michigan. And now we're up further north Michigan in a very, very tiny little town up at the top of the mitten. So we're here through March. And then we're off to Duluth, Minnesota next. So we're just living the dream out here.
You're hitting all the hot spots too, apparently.
We have picked some very weird places. This first leg of the adventure has sort of been dictated by a big life event, which is that I became a grandfather.
Congratulations for that. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's weird to say out loud, but so the whole first leg of this has just been sort of a slow adventure north to get to Minnesota, which is where my son and his wife live, and our granddaughter now. So we're working our way up there. We'll be up there April 1st. And then we're going to spend the summer up there, which is a beautiful place to spend the summer. And then we're just going to kind of figure out where to go next. So it'll be a little more loosey-goosey after this. But this part's been pretty planned towards the north. So terrible time to go north because, ice storms and blizzards and everything else.
Winter in the great north is not fun. Yeah.
But we've survived so far. So
yeah. So what's it like? I'm sure a lot of our listeners are probably wondering, what does it feel like to be rid of the responsibilities of home ownership or anything ownership and just be kind of free to go and come and go as you please? What's that like?
It is. I tell people it's like the most freeing feeling when, like, not just in terms of bills and things like that, but basically one day you wake up and you don't have an electric bill or a gas bill or a garbage bill or you don't pay lawn care or pest control or you just have none of that anymore. But also the physical part of it is so nice because basically everything we own fits in the van, and probably a good third of the van is taken up by our dog and his supplies. So we really don't have that much stuff. And as a result, you don't really spend a lot of time thinking. First of all, you don't buy anything new because you don't have any room for anything. And you don't spend a lot of time thinking about what to purchase or what, even down to what you're going to wear that day, because you basically have a suitcase of stuff. And so you wear the same stuff all the time. It's a very weird thing, but it takes so much off your brain. You know what I mean? I think you spend a lot less time worrying about things and more time just kind of living,
Yeah. And maybe enjoying your wife and dog and the fact that you're grandparents and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. What really matters. It's actually not how much stuff you have.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, the challenging part in some ways is to remind yourself that you're not on vacation. you have to kind of turn off that like vacation switch, because it's just because you're not in your home, you can't go out every night. You can't see the sights every single day because you still got to work. I have to stream. I have to do Lone Rider stuff and TPE stuff. And it would also be incredibly expensive if you were just doing all the touristy stuff in whatever town you were in,
Right.
So we did go a little crazy in Kentucky because I do love my bourbon. So we probably went out more than we probably would have. But, we've been here 4 days, and basically we wake up, we make our breakfast, we work, we get whatever we need to do done. And then we might go out for a drink at night or take a walk. Like today we took Spot for a walk down at the local park and checked that out. Saw a bald eagle, which was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got deer living in our backyard. It's, you try to experience the things that are not the touristy things,
Yeah. Real life stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that I have been doing, which has been really fun, is that I've tried to go play poker everywhere we've been. Now, all the places we've been don't have casinos. And there's one here about 30 minutes away, but apparently they don't have poker, or maybe they do, but you have to like sign up like a week in advance or something. I don't know, it's weird. But like, so in the Outer Banks, like I would go to a local bar game and play. I think I played 3 or 4 nights there. And then when we were in Kentucky, I realized that Chris Moneymaker's club was like an hour away. So I drove over there and played a tournament one night. I don't know how I'm going to find a place to play here. I told my wife I might post on Facebook and just be like, anybody got a home game in town that I could come play at one night?
Well, you're in Michigan. I know they have some kind of casinos in Michigan. Is there nothing near you?
They have a ton of casinos here and a ton of card rooms, but they're all down like in the Detroit, Flint, Grand Rapids area, and we're way up here, and those are all way down there. So it's a good 2-hour drive to the closest card room.
If you guys are listening to this on just an audio only format, you got to picture Derek doing what everybody who talks about Michigan did. He holds up his hand because Michigan's shaped like a hand, and he's showing me I'm up here and sort of the tip of his middle finger down to the bottom of his palm. That's so funny. That's just every single person I've ever met from Michigan. That's what they do.
Yeah, and I'm originally from Michigan, so that's very natural for me to do the whole like. In fact, you can do the whole state if you go like this.
Both hands.
Nobody can see. But.
That's great. It might be worth it for you guys to check out the YouTube just to see exactly where on the hands they are at this point in the travels. Well, like you mentioned, one thing that's been going on that I've noticed is a real uptick in the streaming. It seems like something about being on the road, it makes you want to get on Twitch more often. What's going on there? Yeah, I think
part of that is just that I've scaled back my commitments to the brewery and the distillery. So I have a lot more time. But the other part of it is that for some reason, this being on the road thing has sort of reinvigorated my interest in it. I think because there's another angle to talk about other than, I'm back in the same room again, same room I've been in for 10 years. Now it's kind of like, where is Derek today and what room is he streaming in and what's in the background? Like, for people who are watching the video, like there's a bed behind me that is not my bed.
Right.
So yeah, it's just kind of made it interesting again, just kind of reinvigorated my excitement for it. I've been really enjoying it. Also, we've changed, for people who have not realized, we've changed the night of the TPE free roll on ACR Poker to Thursdays. And that's been kind of interesting. For one, I thought there'd be a big blowback about moving it. But I took polls in like 3 different streams. You can run actual polls on Twitch. And so I did it on a Sunday, a Thursday, and then I think a Tuesday for my home game. And I basically asked people like, hey, did you prefer Sunday or do you like Thursday? And it was like 80% in favor of Thursday, which I was really surprised at.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. You would think people have to get up for work the next day or something like that.
I think with free rolls, the thing is you get a lot of truly recreational players, and those players maybe, a lot of this is me guessing, but they may tend to set aside weekends for family time, whether that's taking the kid to soccer or go to church or spending the day with the wife or whatever. So I almost feel like it freed up people who are like, oh, I'm home from work at 5:00. I can play 8:00 on Thursday, but I can't spend the whole day Sunday grinding because that's, soccer day or whatever. But it's been cool because it's brought in a bunch of new people who, who for whatever reason couldn't play on Sunday, and now all of a sudden they're playing on Thursdays. And the people who were playing on Sundays, for the most part, seem to have been able to switch their schedule to play on Thursday. So it's been really fun. Hopefully it's exposing a lot of people to the podcast and to ACR and to the free roll. And I've been joking in my stream that I might just start changing the day every week. One week it might be Wednesday, the next week it might be Sunday.
Yeah, keep them guessing. Where is Derek and what day is the free roll? This is and what is Spot doing? That's what most people want to know. Yeah. Spot steals the show. He's a really good dog. He's a true legend.
He is a legend.
All right. Well,
it's been really fun.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I mean, I think you're doing something that a lot of people maybe dream of doing, but they might not ever get around to it, but just really downsizing your life and simplifying things and, just kind of hitting the road. I think it's really cool. Do you think you'll hit the road this summer and end up in Vegas somehow?
It's possible, but I don't think it's super likely. You and I were talking a little bit before about a couple of events, and one of them falls when I'm in Los Angeles, but then I realized that it runs for like a week after that. So it's a possibility. But since we are going up to Minnesota to see my son and his wife and our granddaughter, I suspect there's going to be a lot of family time. So we're just going to have to kind of wing it. Plus, I don't even know if there's an airport in Duluth. Actually, there is an airport, but
right, yeah, there has to be one somewhere near there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, every year, for those who might not realize, Derek and I always go through the World Series of Poker schedule. We normally do this when it comes out, but this time around, it was just hard to schedule it. So now it's been out for a while, and I've had a chance to look through it and figure out maybe what I'd like to play. And now it sounds like you're probably not going to make it at all, but we can still dream. And I remember summers past when you said, "Oh, I'm not going to make it to Vegas this summer," and then I saw you at my table. So you are a wild card. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I would say almost for sure. Going back to like this whole like on the road lifestyle, it's like you have to plan everything to a T, but also you can't plan almost anything. It's the weirdest thing, Yeah. You got to figure out like where you're going to be next, and you got to find a place to live. But you don't really know till you get there what life is going to look like. So it will definitely be like a last minute call, but it won't be the first or probably the last time that I just was like, oh, there's a cheap Southwest flight. Let me just jump on this real quick and go play an event, especially if it happens to be around my favorite tournament, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah, for sure. So as most of you probably know, there are 100 bracelet events. Again, they did not increase it this year. That's one thing, but there were a lot of rumors before the schedule came out that maybe they were going to decrease the number of bracelets. They decided to hold steady at 100. And I really think that's probably too many bracelets, but whatever. Let's have some fun and party all summer long. The whole thing kicks off May 26th, and this is a brand new tournament. It's called the $550 Mini Mystery Millions. So for the last few years, they've had a mystery bounty tournament with a $1,000 buy-in and a $1 million guaranteed first place prize and a $1 million top bounty prize. Well, they're doing the same exact thing, but they're cutting the buy-in in half for this first event. There are, 3, 4, 5, 6 flights, 6 opportunities to enter this thing with 2 re-entries per flight. So if my math is correct, you could potentially play this thing 18 times.
I will not be doing that.
Quick, what's 18 times 550? So, but is this the tournament that you think you would like to jump in on? I'll bet it's going to be so juicy.
This would be my second highest priority tournament if I were to rank them.
Okay.
I mean, if money were no issue, the main event would be number 1, but we all know how that goes. This one is super cool to me. I'm very curious. Mystery bounties are kind of polarizing because, ACR implemented mystery bounties, so I play a lot of them. My chat is sort of split. Half the people love them. I love them. But half the people are also like, I don't like how much money is taken out of the prize pool, and you can make it all the way to the mystery bounties and then not get one, and you basically, cash for less than you paid to get in. I get all those arguments. So I'm kind of curious to see how this one does, because I don't know if that polarization exists on the live side or not. So it'll be super interesting to see how many people come out and play this one.
Yeah, I mean, live mystery bounty tournaments have been doing really well around the country. I mean, this is the first time I ever heard about this format. I remember saying on this podcast how much I love this format. I think we need to have more reasons to gamble in poker tournaments, and it's kind of boring just watching everybody fold, and it's kind of boring playing in a tournament where everybody's folding and just trying to ladder up. Mm-hmm. And the fact that there might be $1 million prize still up for grabs with, let's say, 60 players left, all I have to do is try to bust somebody, and then I get a pull of 59 to 1 shot of hitting $1 million cash prize. It does kind of make you want to gamble more. So I'm a big fan of the format.
Yeah, I think it's a little less solved of a game than a traditional no limit hold'em tournament. And I think a lot of the reason people don't like the format is because they're playing it wrong.
Right.
Their whole thing is, it's almost like there's double bubbles. Like, I just got to make it into the mystery bounty phase, but they're forgetting that you need chips when you get there to bust people. And you need to exploit the people who are playing that way. The people who are just trying to make it into the mystery bounty. So you have to take advantage of that. So it's like, it's like a double bubble situation going on. I haven't solved it, that's for sure. I suck at them, but I'm going to try to get better.
Well, I've had a little bit of success in these, and I've made a lot of day twos, and for a long time I made a bunch of day twos when the mystery bounties kicked in, and then didn't win any mystery bounties. But the one thing that really opened my eyes, like I had seen things online and I had seen stuff on different coaching sites or whatever about how you're supposed to really open up your game and go for the prizes. I really saw it play out in real time at the win in a $2,200 mystery bounty event that was won by Chance Corneth. And this guy was going crazy. I mean, he was really getting after it. I mean, he was playing close to 100% of the pots when there were still 100 players left and 2 of the 3 biggest prizes were still up for grabs.
Yeah.
He was going for those prizes and willing to risk a lot of his stack to try to pull up an envelope. So that tells you all you need to know, because obviously Chance is much better at poker than I could ever hope to be. So I ever since then, I've really bought into the idea that you got to gamble it up in these things. And I think that's why some professional players don't like them, because they don't want the fish to have a shot at winning a big prize that should, that they don't actually, quote unquote, deserve.
Right.
But it's a different game. Okay. And you don't have to play them if you don't want to, by the way.
There's 99 other tournaments to play.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So the one that I'm looking forward to a lot in the early going is the PLO. I final tabled only one World Series of Poker live tournament in my whole career, and that was a $600 PLO deep stack is what they called it. And so that's in the first week, and I forget. Yeah, here it is. June 2nd is when it is. And so that one, I want to get back to the final table at that one again. I got 5th place the first time around. I want to play that tournament every year because that one has a special place in my heart for obvious reasons. There's also something called a 10K GG Millions No Limit Hold'em High Roller. I don't know what that is. But obviously GG is now putting their own stamp on the World Series of Poker in a different way this year. I see that with the schedule. They're definitely trying to, put their branding on it more and make it feel more like, I guess, what they like to do online. Have you ever had a chance to play on GG Poker online?
I never have, no. It's not available here in America. I know some people play on it. But I've never traveled out of the country and played on it. So
okay. Yeah. I played on it. They have just a Canada-only version. And that's the only one I've gotten to do. Yeah. And it is fun. I mean, it's a fun website. But yeah, I think you'll see through this schedule there's a lot more GG than there used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also on June 2nd, I will not be playing this event, the $1,700 No Limit Hold'em US WSOP Circuit Championship. So the circuit events, they always have a $1,700 main event. And so this one is just another circuit event that you can play, but it's in the middle of the World Series. Kind of weird, but they're calling it the Circuit Championship, but there's no qualification. Like, you don't have to have won a circuit ring or cashed in a circuit event or anything like that. Anybody who wants to buy in can play in this open event, but it's called the WSOP Circuit Championship. And that's on June 2nd. Let's see. I know you always had a special place in your heart for the Monster Stack, and that's starting June. So is that the number one on your list?
Not yet.
No.
I love all the really deep stack events, the Monster, what do they used to call them? The extended levels tournament or whatever they used to call it.
The marathon, right? Years ago.
Yeah.
Right? The marathon.
I love those kind of tournaments. It fits my style because I am a bit of a nit.
Mhm.
So I've done well in those in the past. I think my deepest WSOP run is in one of those, not the Monster Stack, but some other, the Solstice or one of those.
Yeah.
One of those names that has gone down with history. But yeah, I love that event, but it's not my favorite.
Okay, so we're not to the favorite yet. Interesting. All right.
You'll get it when we get there.
Okay. So there's also a freeze out. There aren't that many freeze outs on the schedule this year. This is one thing that I don't like. I think that there should be more tournaments for people who just want to buy in once and have everybody else buy in once and not have to worry about people with deeper pockets having more opportunities to potentially win the bracelet. But there's a $500 freeze out I'll probably play on June 7th, which is event number 25. So by June 7th, you're already at event 25. That's kind of amazing. And that's a new tournament, I believe. There's also the day before that, it's a 25K high roller, which I don't expect to play, and the Dealer's Choice Championship on the same day. Then we've got a tournament I'm almost sure that I'll play, which is event number 28. It's a $600 mixed No Limit Hold'em Potland Omaha with 30-minute levels. That's my kind of tournament. I like to mix it up. I like PLO just as much as No Limit Hold'em, so I probably will play that event myself.
But then you can't play the 50K high roller.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to sit between Scott Seaver and Steven Chidwick, so I'll probably stick the 50K high roller.
It's like 90% the best players in the world, and then 10% rich businessmen who don't care.
Businessmen from Japan or someplace. Yeah. All right. Moving down the list, event number 31, a $1,500 No Limit Hold'em Super Tourney with 20-minute levels, and everybody's a $300 bounty. Now, this feels almost like a throwback to me because nowadays it's PKOs and mystery bounties, and even the thing they do at the Venetian, which is the bounties one amount before we get into the money, and then it like quintuples when we do get into the money. And then this is just a straight bounty. It's $300 at the beginning. It's $300 at the end.
Yeah, I like those events online and live because they're easier to minimize your variance a little bit. You know, you might pay $1,500 to get into this. You knock a couple people out. Even if you don't make the money, you got half your buy-in back, basically. So I think those are always cool, like little variance killers. Plus it's a super turbo, which is just nice because you don't have to be there for 3 days to win. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, and it kind of inspires more action because there's a bounty that you can win. So in addition, maybe you wouldn't normally take this particular coin flip, but you're like, you know what the heck? I can get a big stack. The levels are going up soon, and I also have that incentive to collect $300 bounty. So for sure. Let's see. We've got the Colossus. Is that your favorite tournament?
It is not. In fact, I have sworn off the Colossuses and the Giants and the everything else because although you did mention that the lines got a lot better last year.
Oh, yeah. It was nice.
I think we had the same conversation last year where I was like, I hate those tournaments. I'll never wait in those lines. And you're like, oh, it's not so bad now.
No, it's not bad at all. You can do everything on the app. And, it's really not that hard to even re-enter these things like it was in years past. Let's see. That one has a 40-minute levels, which is pretty good value if you're looking just to come and maybe you don't have a big bankroll. You just want to pick one event to play. A $500 tournament with multiple starting flights and 40-minute levels isn't bad. There again, it's one re-entry per flight. So one thing they've done is for a lot of the tournaments, they are allowing re-entries, but they're not allowing unlimited re-entries in some of these events, where I think in years past they were like that, especially the Colossus. I remember people buying into the Colossus like 20, 30 times.
Yeah, it was out of control. You had to like make the final two tables to break even for some of those guys.
Yeah, it gets a little silly at some point. Let's see, $1,500 PLO with multiple starting days, June 11th. I'm excited to play the senior high roller. It's a 5K. Got to be at least 50 years old. I qualify. So
I now qualify as well. So.
Yeah, let's get in there and play and that's a high roller, I guess, for seniors, because so many of them are on a fixed income. They call that a high roller. Obviously, the normal seniors event was always 1K, but this is a different one. They're doing in advance of that. And then, just to balance things out, the next day there's a $250,000 no limit hold'em super high roller. So,
jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, and what's Bitcoin these days? I don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see the numbers, particularly for the main event, with Bitcoin being, half the value it was last year?
Yeah, it might go way down. And also, some people in America are worried about the new tax laws, which they keep trying to kill and overrule. But right now, it looks like you can only deduct 90% of your losses, which is kind of pushing more people, I think, towards cash games. So we could see a somewhat muted World Series. I guess we'll have to see how everything shakes out.
I kind of expected one last year, though, and that ended up not being the case. I thought maybe with people from other countries maybe being a little bit nervous about coming here,
some
of the stuff that was going on, and I was like, I think the numbers are going to be down, and I forget, but I believe they were up.
Yeah, no, the numbers overall were up. I mean, the main event got only 9,700 players.
Crazy.
So, yeah, only, right? That was a down year for the main event by today's standards, which is just
nothing can keep the degens away.
No, we're coming. The regular seniors event, June 15th and 16th, 2 flights there, 1 re-entry per flight. That's a 1K. Must be at least 50 years of age. Let's see. June 16th, there is another freeze out. This one's 2,500 with 40-minute levels on day 1 and then 60-minute levels on day 2. I might just enter that just because I like the purity of the freeze out format, but also that'll be a good warm up for the Millionaire Maker, which is my favorite tournament. I love the Millionaire Maker because you know that first place is going to be at least $1 million. And I feel like I'm against how flat some payout structures have gotten in tournaments everywhere. I like the old days when the first prize was really meaningfully bigger than second prize.
Yeah.
Because it made players go for it more and try to maybe take some more chances at the final table. You remember the early days of World Poker Tour, 50% of the buy-ins were first place.
Yeah.
50. Now it's like 15.
Right.
Big difference.
Yeah, I think you've said in the past, I might be quoting you wrong, but you would it's winner take all.
I do. That's how I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people would enter my tournament.
Yeah. You don't win the silver, you lose the gold.
Yeah.
Sorry, Olympians.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but I think it would be great. And no deal making allowed. You have to try to win the thing, right?
It'd be really interesting to see how many runners a tournament would get if the WSOP just did one winner take all tournament.
Just one.
Like maybe it's like a $1,500 buy-in or something. I'd be so curious to see how many people played it.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I think it would scare recreational players away, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So it would be very interesting.
And the stress at that final table, can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
What if they got 500 entries and now you're down to the final 8 players?
Right. The bright side is if you're 8th out of 8, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah, there's no laddering up. That's what I would love.
It's the second and third place guys who got to be nervous.
Yeah, when it gets down to there, then you're just in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be super fun. I just don't think it'll ever actually happen in real life.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get rich someday and buy a casino, and I'll just do it. I'll just do it for
There you
fun
go.
weekend.
Maybe
Well,
we can sponsor a tournament, the TPE winner take all fiasco.
yeah, well, that's a great idea. We should. We
That'd be
should.
amazing.
We can give away seats to that fiasco on the podcast or on your live stream on Twitch or whatever. That would be cool.
As long as we don't guarantee an amount and we have to cover if the field doesn't cover.
Right. Nobody wants to play our stupid tournament. We have to cover it anyway. Yeah. All right. There's another PLO with multiple starting days. So it looks like they're trying to do a little bit more of these small to mid stakes PLO. This one's a 1K. I know PLO is growing in popularity. We say it all the time, but it's definitely, I think, having a moment right now. There's also the $500 no limit hold'em Salute to Warriors. And that's just a 1 day or one starting flight, and you can only re-enter one time. So that's kind of close to a freeze out format, if you will.
Yeah.
The 50K Poker Players Championship, which I will not be playing, is June 21st. Super Seniors, you got to be at least 65, and that one is June 22nd. Let's see, we've got the Mystery Millions as we have come to know it, which is a 1K. That's actually also happening. So you've got your $550 Mystery Millions at the beginning of the summer, and then right in the middle, event number 63 is the one that we know with the $1,000 buy-in, $1 million for first place, $1 million guaranteed top mystery bounty prize. And there are, again, 6 starting flights for that one. So that run, you can enter anytime between June 22nd and June 27th. So that's what's going on with that. And right in the middle of all that, maybe this is by design, the 1K Ladies Championship is on June 25th. Do you think they did that on purpose, trying to have this crazy Mystery Millions and have the ladies right in the middle?
It wouldn't surprise me. Keeps the guys from entering the ladies tournament.
Yeah, right. That's a good.
But you did skip my favorite event.
And now I see what it is. It's the $1,000 no limit hold'em tag team event on June 24th.
I actually did a TikTok about this yesterday, I think, asking people what their favorite or what event they're looking forward to most of the WSOP or what their favorite event is on the schedule. And I said this was mine because, and we've talked about this before. Well, you and I did one together, for one thing.
That's right.
Or played in the same one. It's just so much fun. It's like it's the one time where everyone lets their hair down, if I had hair. And like I said in my video, I've never seen as many people laughing and smiling and having fun at the poker table as in the tag team event. It's like everyone's stressed out the whole summer grinding, and then that event, everyone's just like drinking beers, tagging in and out of the tournament.
When you're in a tag team, then you're rooting for your partner, and if he takes a bad beat or something, you're there to comfort him or whatever. Or maybe if he misplays a hand, you can give him a hard time and buy him a drink, whatever. It's a very fun-loving, it almost feels like a charity event, the way the tag team goes, because that's the kind of vibe you get, like at one of Matt Stout's events, like where everybody's just kind of having fun and treating it more like a party and just really enjoying the game. So
I think also the fact that you're essentially splitting the buy-in amongst several people, so there's not a ton of money on the line either. So that eliminates some of that stress and pressure. It's like, I was in this for $250, whatever. It's all good,
Totally. Yeah.
So yeah, I love that event.
Yeah.
That would be one. If I was going to make it out, I'd try to come out for that. And then, and then I got to figure out, like, okay, who's going to be my tag team partner?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do something on your Twitch stream. Like we've done in the past, like giveaways and things like that. That makes it fun too.
Yeah.
Except for my tag team partner who didn't get to play a single hand because I busted early.
Well, it might have been better than my team, which effectively bubbled.
Yeah, you guys bubbled. That was a little sad. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, after that, we've got the mini main event, which some people really consider their main event. It's just like the main event, except for you buy in for 1,000 instead of 10,000, and the levels are 30 minutes instead of 120. Also, you can re-enter this event if you bust out of Flight A, you can play Flight B. If you bust out of Flight B, you can play Flight C. So that's how that works. But you can't re-enter the same flight. You have to wait till the next day to buy in again to the mini main event. Let's see. There's 600 No Limit Hold'em Deep Stack Championship, which I don't know why that would be a championship for 600, but it has something to do with Deep Stack and how they kind of have like that other world going on during the World Series where there's these Deep Stack tournaments, as they call them, which are one-day events that usually attract very large fields of, let's be honest, it's mostly recreational players in those things. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's like the culmination of that, I guess, would be that $600 championship there. Of course, the main event, the 10K No Limit Hold'em Championship, starts July 2nd. Let's see, there are 4 starting flights for that one, all the way up to July 5th. 5K Super Turbo Bounty on July 3rd. There's something called an Ultra Stack, $600 event with multiple starting flights around that same time. And then this is an event that I enjoyed a lot last year. This year it's going to be event number 87. It's the 1K PLO Mystery Bounty. That's fun because PLO is kind of a wild game anyway. But now that we're also trying to collect mystery bounties on top of it, it's kind of perfect. You know,
the ultimate gambling game.
Yeah. Well, that and the other one that I almost skipped here, which is the double board bomb pot. It's a PLO double board bomb pot. I actually played this tournament last year. This year, nice. July 2nd. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just,
I might do better in those. Even I don't even know how to play the games, but
yeah, just get it in and then ask the dealer if you get at least a quarter of the pot.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. The $300 Gladiator of Poker, which I don't think Derek would want to play. It's just wild. Yeah, just crowded, crazy stuff. And then the home stretch here, we've got the $1,500 closer with 2 starting flights on July 11th and 12th. And let's see, Summer Saver, $500 Summer Saver.
I might need that one to save my summer.
Yeah, exactly. And then the very last day of the series is July 15th, and they have a No Limit Hold'em Super Turbo with 20-minute levels for 1K. That's event number 100. So if you're still in town and you haven't lost your entire bankroll yet, you can take one last shot at the bracelet and play a Super Turbo on the last day. I'll bet that tournament is going to be so juicy. The people who are still there and trying to get even for the summer, one last shot at it. They might be on tilt just a little bit. So there's your schedule in a nutshell. We're still waiting for the Venetian and the Wynn and the other casinos around town to announce their schedules. But obviously, schedule day is a big one for all of us. We get excited about what to look forward to in the summer once all this snow that's all around us melts. And we can start looking forward to spring and summer in fabulous Las Vegas. I really hope you can make it, Derek.
Yeah, I do too. I always hope to make it, and then you know how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you have somewhere to be, but let's run through one of your recent hands. Safe to assume this was part of a live stream that you played recently?
Yeah, this was a live or an online tournament. I was playing on ACR on my stream. It's just a little 660 tournament. I want to say 5K guarantee. I might have that guarantee wrong, but it's a low stakes MTT, big fields. This was just a few days ago. ACR is running a series right now, their OSS series. So the fields are particularly big. So I know this was one of those large field tournaments, and big blind's 2,800. So we were pretty deep, probably approaching the money at this point. Spoiler alert, my Poker Tracker 4 was down for like 9 months or something. Finally had to uninstall, reinstall. I got it working again, but all my numbers are in different places now.
Oh, okay.
So we're starting in with 33 big blinds.
Oh, okay.
And we are in the small blind. Like I said, small blind 1,400, big blind 2,800. We have 90K. Folds around us in the small blind. We have Queen of Clubs, Queen of Spades. This opponent doesn't really fold. Now we didn't have a ton of hands on him. We had 37 hands, but he's played 50% of them. but he never raises. So he's running 49-0.
Wow.
So he's playing pots, but he never raises, he never three bets. So it's kind of
You just don't see this kind of player that much online anymore. Even in a $6 online tournament, you don't really see people that have no aggression at all.
Yeah, it's very odd. So with that in mind, like I said, it folds around us in the small blind, and I decided to raise pretty bigger than my standard raise to 8,400. It's not like awkwardly larger. I guess it's 3x.
Yeah.
But normally, I'm usually going like 2.5, 2.3 or whatever. But I just know that this guy just likes to play pots. So I'm like, well, I might as well make the pot as big as I can.
Yeah, well, small blind versus big blind, I know the solver likes to do 3x. So I think GTO Wizard is going to approve of this play. And now's a good time to talk about GTO Wizard, by the way, because I'm ready to get ready for the summer in Vegas. I'm spending a lot of time playing with GTO Wizard. I'm putting my hands in. I'm working on, things like these blind versus blind situations. Like if you play a lot of cash games, like I've been in the last 6 months, not really playing as many tournaments as cash games. Usually if it folds to small blinds, you want to chop? Yeah, let's just chop. And you end up not playing small blind versus big blind. So It's good to get your chops up again and figure out how to play small blind versus big blind. So we have a good deal. Anybody wants to try it out, you get 10% off. You also get 24 hours free, unlimited, like a trial period, so you can give it a shot. And then when you're ready to buy, you'll save 10% because you used our special affiliate link, which is gtowizard.com/p/TPE. And Derek, I'll run your hand through the solver for next week's episode too. So we'll see what the wizard thinks about your play as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to like this just fine. But I'm curious to see what it thinks about future streets.
Okay, cool.
Not surprisingly, because it would be a really boring hand otherwise, the villain calls.
Right, like he does.
So we do go to a flop with 19.2K in the middle. Will be first act, and the flop is Queen 7-8 2 clubs.
Wow, so we flop nuts.
Flop the toppest of sets, which is beautiful. And kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, this guy likes to play pots, doesn't seem to really fold much. His fold to c-bet, again, this is a relatively small sample, but his fold to c-bet is 0%. So he has not folded to a c-bet yet. So, of course, I decided to go ahead and bet. I make it pretty small, which I don't mind, but because of what we're thinking about this player, I'd kind of rather go in hindsight, I kind of wish I'd gone just a little bit bigger, but we bet 5,600 into 19K.
And how much is in the stack?
I start the hand with 83. He has us covered with 124K.
Okay, so you have the effective stack, 83K minus 8. Yeah, I guess I think I would prefer betting bigger on the flop, especially because he doesn't fold to c-bet. We might as well make his mistake a bigger one.
Yeah, and I feel like this is going to make it a little bit more difficult to get it all in, where by the river, if we keep this sizing up in particular. But I don't hate it against most villains. I just kind of feel like against this one, maybe we just go. I mean, if he's calling 5,600, he's probably calling 7,500 or 8K or 9K, whatever. So I think we can go a little bit bigger, but we opt with that sizing, and the villain calls. We get king of diamonds on the turn. There's now 30.5K in the middle. Our stack's now 77.8. And this is where I'm starting to see it's getting hard to get all this in if we don't start sizing up soon. And I like this card because it's hard for him to have king queen, but he could be floating us with all kinds of king X. And obviously the card doesn't scare us any. So I like the card. And I do now size up a little bit. I decided to bet 15K into 30K. So basically a little less than half pot, 30.4K.
I feel like the sizing has been kind of the problem for this.
Yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place. Like, I know what I think about this player, and I'm playing as though he's a normal player. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. If you know somebody's exploitable, why wouldn't you do the things you're supposed to do to exploit that player?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So I like that I size up a little more on the turn, but I think, again, going back to what we said, like 15K, 18K, it's kind of the same bet to a villain like this.
Yeah.
And I said we like this card. He can have lots of draws too. Like he can have the 9-10, the clubs, which I don't think he's folding because he doesn't fold. So,
right.
So in hindsight, I wish I'd gone a little bit bigger, but we didn't. But not unexpectedly, he calls.
Right. Okay. So now there's like 60K in the middle.
Yeah. 60.5K. And here's exactly what I was kind of talking about earlier. We have 62K behind. There's 60K in the middle. I would just like this to be a little bit more like 75K in the pot and 45K left for us.
Right. Yeah. Then it's harder for him to fold. But now your shove on the end is going to be a slight over bet. It might be enough for him to get away from whatever he's got.
Yeah.
So, all right.
But we get, I guess, a good card, the 8 of spades. So the board is now 8, 7, queen, king, 8, rainbow. No flushes come in, no straights come in. And we have a full house. And this is where I actually like my play here. And I'm curious to see what you think. My thought is if he had something like 9-10 or clubs like we talked about, or maybe even like queen jack, where he had flop top pair. I kind of feel like if we shove here, he can probably find folds with those hands. The only thing I think that we get snapped off with is an 8.
Right.
Maybe like king X, maybe. But I even think even those hands, because an 8's kind of a scary card for him. We have a lot, we have an 8 more than him probably in the small blind. So I actually had this idea that, okay, if he had straight draw, flush draw, maybe like a random 7 or like 9s, 10s, any of that kind of stuff, he's probably going to fold to my third barrel, especially if it's a shove. So I actually opted to check. And it's also the kind of board that we could have like barreled, like we could have all those hands and we barreled them. And now we're just like, okay, I give up. He's obviously got a queen or a king or whatever. The only thing that worries me about this, the way I played it, is we've kind of said he's like this sort of like calling like player, but he's not an aggressive player. So I worry that if he did miss, he's just going to check back. But he's also not going to call us if we check, or if we bet, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it feels to me like our only way to get more money from most of his range is to check.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, it makes sense that when he has a draw, he can't call a river bet. So even if there's only a 5% chance that he'll try to bluff you, then it's still better to check than to bet and just have him always fold his missed draws. The only time we lose value is when he has a hand that he could call a bet with on the river, but he's not going to bet himself. Like if he has an 8, he's going to bet that hand. So it's no problem checking him when he has an 8. That's totally fine. The question is, could we get more value from like a queen X type of hand? Right. And that's really the only value target that we're missing out on, because there again, that hand is not going to bet the river when you check. They're just going to check back and hope the queen is good, right?
Yep.
But
the only way we get, I think, called by any like weak hands is if we bet really small and they have like 9s or something or ace 7 and they're just like, oh, he bet 10K into 60K. I guess I have to bet, or I guess I have to call or whatever. But I wanted it all.
Yeah.
I wanted the full double.
No, I get it. Yeah, I think we need to start with a bigger C bet on the flop, and then it's easier to get all the chips in here on the end. So yeah, the compounding effect of the sizing mistakes earlier in the hand, like they kind of play out later, in these spots, especially when you flop so well and it fills up at the end. But yeah, I guess checking and just hoping this guy bets is a good strategy, because it's hard to have it's hard for him to have anything that he can call another bet with.
Right.
That he's not going to bet himself on the end.
Yep. That's exactly my thought. So we did go ahead and check. He bets 45.3K.
Oh, great.
In the 60. We have 62 behind.
Yeah,
we obviously shove, and he folds. So I'm thinking maybe misdraw. Because I think, getting that price, he has to call with
everything. Yeah.
So it must have just been 9-10 or 5-6 or, missed clubs or, 3-4 of clubs or something where he's just well, I might as well save 15K because I know he's got better than 5 high.
Right. Yeah. It does feel like he just tried to bluff you with the misdraw. So
for sure, if we had shoved, he would have folded. So
right. Yeah.
I guess we got max value, but and it looks like a great hand if you look at the result. But going back to what you said, I feel like this teaches you that lesson about compounding mistakes. Where it's well, it's not a big deal that I only bet 5 instead of 8, but at the end of the day, it can cost you 30.
Right.
By the time you get to the river.
And if you think about the way your whole range wants to play on Queen 8-7 with 2 clubs, right? So the flop has a lot of possibilities, a lot of straight draws, a lot of flush draws available. Your range overall, blind versus blind, I think wants to bet bigger on such a wet, or as they're calling it now, dynamic board, right? The board is so dynamic that you kind of want to bet bigger on those types of boards versus a drier board. So never mind that we have 3 queens. It's just our range overall. If we are going to c-bet, we want to bet bigger on that texture. So had you done that, I think getting it all in by the river is a lot easier. Although still, if he ends up having just missed clubs or 10 high or something, he can't call any river bet. So, but then maybe when you check to him on the end, he shoves, and then you do get the full double.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying I played it perfect then? That's how I heard it.
That's what I always say. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Derek, I know you have to go. I want to respect your time constraints and everything, but
appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, tell everybody where they can find you and what day of the week is the free roll now and all that stuff.
Yeah, free rolls Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can come over and get the password at twitch.tv/Killingbird. Just search Killingbird on Twitter. You'll find me there, Instagram, etc. I think I'm the only Killingbird out there, other than my band, but they don't exist anymore. And if people are interested in following along sort of on our journey around the country, we do have a TikTok account for those of you that are on the TikTok. I'll send you that link, Clayton, too, so we can link it. But it's our username on there is 2 for the road, but fur is spelled F-U-R for Spot. So
shout out to Spot, a stone cold legend of the game.
He makes lots of appearances on the TikTok. So if you love beagles, you can follow just for that.
And who doesn't love beagles?
Yeah.
Derek, it's always a pleasure to go through the WSOP schedule with you each and every year. I look forward to this episode. I know a lot of our listeners do as well. I just hope we can actually see each other in Vegas this summer.
Hope so.
So for Derek Killingbird Tenbusch and for everybody here at Tournament Poker Edge, I'm Clayton Fletcher. Thank you so much for listening.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas plays. Fold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. Luck and intuition, play the cards with babes to start. And after she's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on her heart.